Adopted Acres by Doug Lane is one of the very best soap bases on the market these days. If you guys have had a chance to check out his soap and splashes, the soap base is called as the Grand Champion 2.0. It's just phenomenal. But today, I'm not here to talk about his soap base. I'm here to talk about one of the razors that he sells on his website and why I think it should be on the list of razors that you can go ahead and look at picking up. So before we get into the details of the razors, let me tell you what I think the razor is trying to solve. So I think let's first talk about Henson, right? Henson came into the market and really made shaving easy for a lot of people. It has a fixed angle. It's a case of whether you love it or you hate it. But for most people, they find the Henson razor quite nice to use and definitely helps in case you're just going ahead and starting off in this particular journey. Now, one of the good things that Henson had done is the default model was the plus model or the mild model. And then once you got used to it, there were two more levels that you could go up to, right? There was a plus plus plate and there was a plus 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 plate. Now, for some odd reason, Henson decided that they wanted to go ahead and change that. Maybe most of their sales were only of the mild plate. So, as of this recording, from what I can figure out on their website, you can only pick up the mild plate right now in the AL version. Yes, if you want to pick up the titanium version, which is for $250, you can go ahead and pick up the two other versions as well. For most people, that won't make sense. So, what happens to the people who like the way that the Henson shaves, however, want a little bit more blade feel, want a little bit more blade exposure? What do? Well, there are a couple of things which have come out in the last few months. So let me just take you guys through. So the first one is the Tier 1 razor. I've done a detailed review on this. And it has two sides to the razor, one side being a little milder than the other. So it kind of helps that particular problem where people might find the Henson mild a little too mild for them. They can pick up this razor because one side might be mild, the second side definitely is not. In the similar way, you also had the Taisoto Duo Safety Razor, which again had two sides, right? Where one side was milder than the second side, again giving you, kind of best of both worlds in case if you want it. Now, based on what I just showed you, those kind of dual side razors might be really good for somebody just getting into the shaving because they want to start off with something mild. And the second side is ready for them when they are ready to take it up a notch, right? But for most experienced wet shavers, they actually don't care for these dual sided razors, primarily because when we shave, what we try to do is we try to keep on switching sides, shaving with both the sides of the razor because we don't want to think about which side did I just shave with. And secondly, we want to make sure that the blade wear on both sides is even. So for these experienced wet shavers, they do not like that dual side razor. And this is where Doug's razor comes in because both the sides are the same. So now let me take you to Doug's website and talk a little bit about this razor. So this razor on Doug's website is selling for $24.49. It looks like the Henson. As you guys can see, this is the head geometry. But one of the good things about this razor that I noticed when I was going ahead and shaving with it for the past week or so is this razor falls right between the Henson Medium, which is the plus plus, and the Henson plus plus plus. So in case if you guys are experienced wet shavers, finding the Henson mild, a little mild for your needs, this might be the razor for you. So I will definitely go ahead and shave with the razor, and I will share my thoughts at the end of it in terms of how it scores and whether I think you should go ahead and pick this up. Let me also go ahead and compare this razor to the Cajun blade razor, the ACR1, which launched just a couple of weeks back, and I have a detailed review of this razor on my channel as well. Now, the ACR1, apart from the fact that it is $35, which is $10 more than the Farmhand Razor, the ACR1, at least when I used it, I felt that you require a lot more technique in order to go ahead and use it. So it is a nice razor. It did give me a PBS shave, but I felt that the blade exposure on this particular razor was a bit much for a beginner. So keeping that in mind, the Farmhand razor that you see here is more beginner friendly. So it is not for beginners completely. I mean, if you are a beginner, I would say you would be better off going in directly for a Henson Mild or any of the other two razors that I showed you, which is the Tier 1 or the Touchup. But if you have a few months of shaving under your belt and you're ready to take it up a notch and you don't want to go ahead and bother about switching sides and keeping track of which side you shaved with, I think your choice should be the Farmhand. And let me take you through the shave and share my thoughts with you guys while I'm shaving with it. What I also want to let you guys know is that Tobin Feathers, a friend who has the shaving channel, Tobin's Throwbacks, has also done a review of this particular razor, and I will link it right now on top of this video. All right, let's get started with the shave. So for the shave soap today, we are going to be using Rookie Card. And we're going to switch things up a little bit. Now, as you guys know, I normally always lather in a bowl, and I pretty much always use synthetic shave brushes. I'll share with you guys my reason for doing so, but the fun part of it is we have a group of friends on a Discord server, and we have a lot of people like Wes from Tennessee Whiskey Shaving, Eric the Cajun Blade, Doug is on there as well. You have Damon from Rabbit Shaves, Nick from El Mascarano Shaves, and then obviously you have Chad from Chad Makes Wet Shaving. So the fun part of the thing is that all these guys, they make fun of me because they prefer to face lather with a natural hair brush, and I don't. So we went back and forth, some friendly banter over the last few days, and they kind of put up a challenge and said, Siraj, you need to go ahead and you need to face lather with a natural hair brush. So Chad, especially, this is for you. So I am going to go ahead and lather with this. But as you guys know, I never tub load. I don't want any water in any of my soaps. I'm just scared that it might just go bad. So what I've done is I've taken out the soap and I've put it in this stainless steel bowl. I have a brush soaking. This is a 26 millimeter finest badger from Sterling. I'm going to squeeze all of the water out. It's been soaking for the last few minutes. All right, soaked up. And then what I'm going to do is, just like people tub load, I'm going to load the soap from this particular stainless steel bowl. I think needs just a spot of water to pick up the last few remnants of the soap. There you go. I've loaded it up onto the brush. And now we're going to face lather. So one of the funny things is when Chad goes ahead and records his videos, he keeps the face lathering portion over there. And oftentimes it's half the video. So there's this joke that we have going back and forth. What I do is I comment on his video and I just put in the timestamp where the actual shave starts. So let's see whether I do any better or I do worse. All right, we're working with only 1 day of growth. Let me share with you guys how it sounds. Yeah, because of the way that the video falls, this entire area looks dark, but there is hair. And here is proof. So as you guys can hear, there's definitely hair there. That's my story. I get sufficient hair growth within a day, so I need to shave daily. All right, so the first thing that we are going to do, and this is something, again, Doug had mentioned this on one of the forums, is he uses soap to wash his face, and I think it makes perfect sense, especially for me. See, if you're getting out of the shower directly, and you've washed your face and you directly have the shave, a lot of people say have a hot shower, then do the shave. Well and good. I don't do that. I normally shave in the mornings, but my last shower of the day is late at night. So by the time I'm up in the morning and I'm shaving, my face might have gotten more oils and dirt and stuff like that. So I think it makes perfect sense to wash the face. So I use a gentle cleanser. So that is what I'm going to use. And let me first wash the face and then get ready for the shave. So I've just applied a little bit of the cleanser to my hands. All right, let's wash it off. All right, we washed the face. I'm going to just dab it dry a little bit. And normally I edit my videos that you guys don't see the entire lather being built and all that. This time I'm going to keep it on. So we're starting off right now. I've reset the timer. Now let's begin. So I'll also share with you guys why I prefer why I prefer a synthetic brush over a natural brush. So all I'm doing, guys, is I'm just putting a little bit of water so that the soap is released from the brush. Okay, I'm going to use one of these bougie sprays. This is one of the things that I personally don't like, putting water directly on my face. I'm putting some in the knot as well. All right. So first and foremost, like I shared with you guys, I don't like putting water directly into my soaps. Given the number of soaps we end up having in this hobby, it is very likely that it will be some time before I come back to that soap. And I don't I know that the water might dry off. But personally, I don't want to go ahead and take that risk. So that's number one. Then the second thing is, I normally end up doing almost 3.5, 4 pass shave. Now, when you are doing a face lather, all the soap is in your brush. For me, at times I feel that it may not be as sufficient as how much lather I need. We're getting there. Just a little bit more, so I've got enough soap right now. Yeah, I think we're good, guys. As I've shared with you, that you don't need gobbles of lather on your face. You need sufficient lather to ensure that you can have a good glide, the cushion is there, and the residual slickness is there. So this is absolutely fine, and as you guys can see, a lot of lather is still there, which I'll need for the subsequent passes that I'll do. So how long did I take? Well, the time right now is 6 minutes and 12 seconds. So roughly, Chad, or 1/3 of the time that you take to create your lather. Sorry, I just had to say that. All right, so we are ready for the shave. This is the razor. I've loaded it up with the first time use Filoso blade. I haven't used the Filosos in quite a while. I'm just going to wet the razor and let's begin. So just like a Henson, you need to just find that angle. So this to me, guys, is a lot more beginner friendly than many other razors out there in the market. You do need a good shaving soap, as you guys can see. Residual slickness on the Grand Champion 2.0 base. Superb. All right, let's wash up, come back for pass 2. All right, we washed up. Let's apply for pass 2. So normally you guys would have seen I edit all of this out, but for today, just to show my friends that I'm not cheating, I don't have any lather built somewhere else in a bowl that I'm taking from. I'm going to record this entire video in one shot. I will, however, put timestamps like you guys have seen, just in case you want to jump from one portion of the video to another. All right, we've washed the razor again. Let's start across the grain pass. I have to go with this one a few more times. Yeah, with these fixed angle razors at times, you just need to be able to find that right angle. So when you have trouble spots like this, it might take a minute. Now let's do the neck area. That's some of my toughest hair. Got a little bit of shaving cream on my t-shirt. All right, let's wash up, come back for pass 3. All right, let's apply the lather again. So Doug's soaps, the residual slickness is so good that even though the layer looks quite thin right now on the face, it still has enough glide, protection, everything I need for my passes. All right, let's do pass number 3, south to north against the grain. For people starting off in the hobby, this is the pass that you'll find the toughest. But it's just a matter of time. Before you can figure out your technique. And you'll be doing this and getting BBS in no time. So these multiple passes you see that I'm doing on the same place, if the soap did not have good residual slickness, you can't do it. Okay, now let's do the chin. One of the good things that I notice about this razor is there pretty much no blade chatter, which in a $25 razor is very good. All right, now let's do the dreaded mustache area. Let me apply a little bit more water and a little bit more soap. So just tilt it a little bit to get into these areas. A couple of small weepers. All right, let me wash this up because we need to come back for a touch-up pass. Now my touch-up passes areas are specifically on the sides over here. Okay. All right. That's good. That's good as well. And hair starts growing here for me quite quickly. And on this side as well. When the touch-up pass is something that you guys generally don't see. I do it off camera. But again, that's a me thing. Because I want like a BBS, completely BBS shave. All right, let me wash up, then let's put the alum and see how's it that we did. Let's wet the alum. And let's test. So yeah, a little bit of stinging over here, definitely. Not too much over here, a little bit on the sides. A little bit over here. So this razor is efficient, guys. Very, very efficient. But yeah, it has a little bit of positive blade field, especially if you're chasing a BBS. But if you've been wet shaving for a while, this little bit of burn will do nothing for you. You'll be fine. Like you guys notice, I had a couple of weepers here. That's taken care of. So we're good. So I'm going to keep this on for 30 seconds and then I will come back. All right, guys, we're done. Washed off the alum. Let's pat ourselves dry. And let's apply the aftershave. All right, this is the aftershave. Mix it up. Make sure everything is nicely mixed inside the bottle. Put around 5 or 6 sprays. So one more thing I like about these splashes is they're not very heavy. They're nice and light. I don't like a very heavy splash. So if you're somebody who lives in a very hot place or has a very oily skin, which I do, these kind of splashes are really good. All right, let me wash up my hands. And we are done. So let's do this. Let's head on to my study where I will give you guys my subjective rating for this particular razor. And then let's meet back here for my final thoughts. In terms of value, given that it costs only $25, I think the value is great. Fit and finish is okay for the $25 that you pay. In terms of balance, I think the balance is very good. Please keep in mind that the head seems to have some Zamac part in it. The remaining portion is aluminum. Efficiency is where this razor really shines. You get an absolutely BBS shave. Aggressiveness, like you guys saw right after the shave with the post-shave alum feedback, there was a slight bit of burning, but that's because it's got a slight positive blade exposure. So just keep that in mind. But overall, I rate this razor at 83.75 and I definitely recommend the razor. All right, guys, welcome back. Final thoughts on the adopted Acres Farmhand Razor. I think it's a great choice to have, given that Henson is phasing away the plus plus and the plus 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 plates. So if you need just that little bit more of that oomph in your shave, I think this is a phenomenal razor. And given that it's just 25 bucks, I mean, it's like 1/3 the cost of a proper Henson. Yes, quality differs as well. The Henson, I think, is machined very well, and all of that. This one is on par for the price that you're paying. So if you're paying $25, you're going to get $25 worth of razor, so to speak, in terms of the material and the finishing. But when it comes to the quality of the shave, I think you're getting a far higher quality of shave than what you would think a $25 razor could do. So overall, I do recommend this razor. Keep in mind, it's not for absolute beginners. But if you have been shaving for a few months, you know about pressure, you know about blade feel, you know how to manage those things. I think you'll be at home with this particular razor. So good razor, and it makes for an excellent travel razor. Even if something happens to the razor, 25 bucks is like nothing these days. So that's about it, guys. I hope that the video helped you. If it did, let me know in the comments. If you want to put a like, please do. I never ask you guys for it. If you want to subscribe, your choice. Again, I'll never ask you guys for it. Only if you find the content that I put out helpful, you might want to go ahead and subscribe so that you know when my next video drops. That's about it. Have a great week ahead, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye now.